Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life Stories Network. I never thought I'd be sharing something this personal, but the truth is, my brother and sister did something so unforgivable that it nearly broke me, and I had no choice but to end both of their careers forever. Imagine putting years of your life, sweat, savings, and heart into building something worth over $120,000. Your dream, your pride, your future, and then watching it all get destroyed in one single night. All because your own brother wanted to be a clown and your sister thought it would make great content for her channel. Would you ever be able to forgive that? Because I couldn't, and I won't. Maybe you'll think I went too far with how I handled things, but at the end of the day, I had to decide whether to protect myself or keep letting them walk over me. Tell me, was I wrong for what I did? Growing up, I wasn't exactly from the wealthiest family. My parents were always struggling to make ends meet, and as the eldest child, I had this unspoken responsibility to be the one who made it. My brother, who's 3 years younger than me, always had this mischievous streak. He liked being the center of attention, loved pulling stunts, and never really took anything seriously. My sister, who's a year younger than him, was obsessed with social media. From the time she was 16, she was always pointing her phone at everyone, vlogging dinners, recording pranks, and chasing that one viral video that would blow her up. Meanwhile, I was the one quietly grinding, working long hours, saving every penny I could. I didn't have time to play around because I had a vision. That vision was my studio. Ever since I was a teenager, I'd been obsessed with music and audio production. I'd take apart old speakers, teach myself editing software, and even record small gigs for local bands. I told myself one day I'd own a professional studio, and after years of grinding through part-time jobs, freelancing, and eventually landing a stable career, I finally started building it. It wasn't overnight. It took nearly 8 years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice. I didn't go on fancy vacations. I drove the same beat-up car for almost a decade. I skipped out on luxuries so I could pour money into this dream. By the time it was complete, I had poured in $120,000. Every inch of that place was designed with precision. Soundproofed walls, industry-grade microphones, mixers, monitors, you name it. It wasn't just a studio. It was my sanctuary, my identity, my escape from all the noise. My brother never respected it. He thought it was just some sound room and joked about how much I wasted on it. My sister, she saw it as a cool backdrop for her TikToks. They never understood that this wasn't a toy or a set piece. It was my life's work. Still, I tried to be the good sibling. I let them hang out sometimes. My brother would bring friends over and mess around with the instruments. My sister would take selfies in front of the soundboard, pretending she was some famous artist. I tolerated it, because deep down I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd eventually see how much this meant to me. But that night changed everything. It was a Saturday, and I had been out meeting a potential client. A pretty big name, too. Someone who could have opened serious doors for me in the music industry. I came home feeling good, excited to follow up the next morning. But the moment I pulled up to my house, I saw my driveway packed with cars. Loud music was thumping from inside. My stomach dropped immediately. I hadn't planned anything, and I knew exactly what was happening. My brother had thrown one of his legendary parties. I stormed inside, and what I saw nearly knocked the air out of my lungs. My studio door was wide open. People I had never seen before were inside, red cups in hand, leaning over my equipment like it was a bar counter. Someone was pressing random buttons on the mixer while laughing. My brother was in the corner with a group of guys, encouraging them to try the mic. And there was my sister, standing there with her phone out, live streaming the entire disaster. I lost it. I shouted at everyone to get out, but of course drunk strangers don't listen right away. My brother had the audacity to laugh and tell me to chill. My sister told her viewers, "Guys, look at him freaking out, this is gold." That's when I realized she was using my pain for her content. I shoved past her and ran to my main recording booth. My heart shattered. The booth window was cracked, one of my monitors had a dent in it, and someone had spilled beer all over my mixing board. I swear my knees almost gave out. Do you know what it feels like to watch your life's work being destroyed right in front of you? I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I tried to kick everyone out, but in the chaos, things got worse. My brother, idiot that he is, decided to make a grand exit by picking up one of my guitars and smashing it on the ground like he was some rock star. My sister caught the whole thing on camera, laughing hysterically. That guitar wasn't just any guitar. It was my first major purchase after college, a $5,000 piece that I had babied for years. Watching him reduce it to splinters made something snap inside me. By the time I got everyone out, it was past 3 a.m. The damage was devastating. Beer-soaked carpets, cigarette burns, broken stands, cables pulled out like spaghetti. I sat in the middle of it all, shaking. My brother stumbled back in, drunk, slurring, "It's not that big a deal, bro. Relax." My sister? She had the nerve to ask me if I was mad because she probably got me clout from her live stream. That was the moment I decided I wasn't going to forgive them this time. They had taken too much, crossed too many lines. This was war, so that's the situation I was in. My $120,000 studio was trashed. My brother thought it was funny, and my sister was milking my misery for views. I had to make a choice, let them walk all over me again or finally put an end to it. Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to pause and think. If you were in my shoes, would you forgive your siblings for something like this? Or would you cut them off completely, no matter the cost? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'm curious how many of you would have had the strength to do what I did. So there I was, sitting in the wreckage of my dream, staring at the ruined equipment, the cracked glass, the puddles of beer seeping into my carpet. My siblings thought they'd just pulled a prank, that I'd yell a bit and then get over it like always. But this wasn't some harmless joke. This was my future. This was everything I had worked for over the last decade, and they had destroyed it in one night. I couldn't just let it slide. Something deep inside me hardened that night, and I decided if my brother and sister thought they could make a mockery out of me, I was going to show them exactly how wrong they were. I wasn't going to just punish them. I was going to end the careers they valued so much. The next morning, I documented everything. I walked around with my camera, filming every spill, every broken piece of gear, the cracked booth window, the dented monitors, the snapped guitar. I even filmed the cigarette burns on the carpet. Then I went through my sister's live stream, which luckily was still online. She had been so proud of her content that she uploaded the entire thing. Her own video was undeniable proof. Her laughing while my brother smashed my guitar, her mocking me while my equipment got trashed, her encouraging strangers to touch things that cost thousands of dollars. I downloaded every second of it. My brother woke up late, hungover, with that smug smirk he always had after one of his parties. He walked into the kitchen like nothing happened and grabbed cereal, mumbling, "You'll thank me for loosening you up one day." My sister came in not long after, bragging about how many views her stream got overnight. She actually said, "See? It was worth it. You went viral, bro." That's when I told them calmly, "You two have no idea what's coming." They looked confused, but I wasn't about to argue. I had a plan. Step 1 was insurance. My policy covered damages, but only if I could prove it wasn't negligence on my part. Guess what? Their live stream and my recordings showed it was intentional destruction caused by them. I filed the claim, and within weeks, my insurance company came through. I wasn't going to be left with the entire financial loss, but money wasn't the real issue anymore. The real issue was trust and payback. My brother's dream had always been to be a DJ. He wasn't great at it, but he had some gigs at local clubs and always boasted about his upcoming career. My sister, on the other hand, was grinding hard on TikTok and Instagram. Her biggest flex was her growing audience, thousands of followers who tuned in for her pranks, her lifestyle, and her behind-the-scenes realness. These two lived for their reputations, their little bubbles of fame. So I decided, if they could ruin my life's work, I was going to ruin theirs. I started with my sister. I uploaded a cut version of her live stream, highlighting every second of her mocking me, encouraging my brother, and laughing at the destruction. But here's the twist. I didn't post it on my own account. I anonymously sent it to a few drama pages and Reddit threads where influencers get exposed. Within days, it spread like wildfire. Influencer laughs, while brother destroys 120K studio was the headline on one thread that went viral. People dragged her in the comments, calling her heartless, selfish, and talentless. Brands she'd been begging for sponsorships with? They ghosted her. She went from bragging about her growing influence to losing followers by the thousands. She begged me to help her clear her name, but I just shrugged and said, "You did this to yourself." Then it was my brother's turn. Remember all those gigs he had lined up? Well, I sent videos of him drunkenly smashing my guitar to the club owners who booked him. I explained how he wasn't just reckless but destructive to other people's property. Most of them canceled on the spot. Nobody wanted to risk hiring someone who treated professional equipment like a toy. Within a month, his so-called DJ career was over. The only places he could play were sketchy house parties, and even those started drying up because his reputation spread. But I wasn't done. I wanted them to understand how deeply they had crossed me. So I went no contact. I kicked them both out of my house. Yes, they had been living rent-free with me while I built my career. Can you imagine? I gave them shelter, I gave them comfort, and in return they trashed the one thing that mattered to me most. They screamed, begged, called me heartless, but I didn't budge. I changed the locks, blocked their numbers, and made it clear they had no place in my life anymore. At first, I thought maybe I had gone too far. Maybe family is family, right? But then I saw my sister post a half-apology video on her backup account, twisting the story to make me look controlling, saying I overreacted and that it was just a party. The comments didn't buy it, though. People called her out, pointing to the very live stream she had proudly posted before deleting it. My brother tried to spin it too, telling people I set him up, but his words meant nothing without evidence. I had the receipts. They didn't. Weeks passed, and slowly I rebuilt my studio. The insurance payout covered the essentials, and I dipped into my savings to fix the rest. It wasn't exactly the same, but I made it stronger. More secure. I installed locks, cameras, alarms. There was no way anyone was stepping foot in there again without my permission. My first session with a client after reopening was bittersweet, but it reminded me why I started in the first place. This was my passion, and I wasn't going to let anyone, family or not, take it away from me again. The fallout for my siblings was brutal. My sister's channel flatlined. No brand would touch her, no collabs, no growth. Her name became synonymous with that girl who laughed while her brother's studio got destroyed. My brother ended up working odd jobs trying to save face, but his ego couldn't handle it. He still blames me for ruining his shot at fame, as if he didn't smash my guitar in front of dozens of people. The audacity, right? Sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh, but then I remind myself of the look on my sister's face as she laughed while everything I loved was destroyed. The sound of my brother's fake rock star stunt echoing in my ears. They didn't care about me. They cared about views, about clout, about attention, and in the end, that obsession became their downfall. So, what do you think? Was I wrong for destroying my siblings' careers after they destroyed my $120,000 studio? Should I have forgiven them just because they're family? Or was I right to finally put myself first and cut them off completely? I genuinely want to hear your thoughts, because sometimes I still question whether blood really means loyalty, or if it's just a chain people use to keep you tied to their selfishness. If you were on my side, make sure to hit that like button right now. And if you want to hear more shocking, real-life stories like mine, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Share your own experiences in the comments. Have you ever had family betray you in a way you couldn't forgive? I'll be reading them all. Thank you for listening to my story, and I'll see you all in the next one.